Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber John, and this is Tinker Oath. This video will come out after the NYSE Open, but I'm recording it beforehand. John is competing in that tournament and is planning on playing very close to this list. As we know, I love Oath of Druids, and it's a deck I've had success with in Vintage. It's the deck that I won NYSE with 2 years ago. I also top 8 at Eternal Weekend that same year with the same archetype. Oath's meta position, it can be dubious at times. It is soft to faster combo decks. That means if Jewel Shops is good, Oath gets worse. If Doomsday is good, Oath gets quite bad. The PO deck, that's been popular the last year and a half or so, also quite good against Oath. But Oath is good against the decks that are good against those decks. The Demir Frog decks, the White Initiative, this Prison Shops. Oath loves playing into all those decks. Oath also tends to crush random brews if somebody comes in with their, whatever, their idea that they had, or sometimes there's hate bear decks or any kind of unpowered creature deck like Red Prison or Black Scam. Oath right in the pocket to beat those decks. And there's something interesting happening right now, which is that a lot of people are exploring Flow State as a card draw engine to replace Paradoxical Outcome in the Jeskai decks. And for every Jeskai Paradoxical Outcome player who cuts their Paradoxical Outcomes for a playset of Flow State, slows their deck down, and just becomes some anemic control pile featuring Thundertrap Trainer, Oath gets better in that metagame. John also reopened the Tinker tech. This was something that was happening 2 years ago. Almost no one's doing this anymore because it just wasn't good for a long time. However, Tinker is one of the things that can let you keep up with the faster combo decks. It gives you a gear of the deck that is almost as fast as them and can make something happen on that speed. When Stock Up was printed, it mostly took Tinker out of the deck because we didn't need that redundancy anymore of bangers. You could just find the bangers you wanted to bang with more often. But John's got Stock Up and Tinker in the deck for hyper redundancy. The other interesting thing John is doing is Raph and Mikey Troublemakers. This card has been popping up in Reanimator and Sneak and Show, and it's not unheard of, but this is kind of a big upside with big risk addition to the deck. So there's one Raph and Mikey, 3 Atraxa. That is a different spread than the 4 Atraxa decks. This list also doesn't have Flash in it, which is one of the ways to cash out an Atraxa, because Flash doesn't work with Raph and Mikey. Raph and Mikey, when it attacks, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped and attacking on the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if we presume a world where Oath of Druids triggers or Show and Tell resolves and it just works and our creature shows up, Raph and Mikey is the Atraxa as well, and it's 14 damage right away because it attacks with haste, and the only thing you can hit off it is Atraxa. So Oathing into Atraxa, you have a 7/7 without haste that fills your hand. Raph and Mikey, you have a 7/7 with haste that poops out another 7/7 tapped and attacking. That's also Atraxa that fills your hand. That's all upside. However, if your opponent has Swords to Plowshares or Caracas, Raph and Mikey is a complete blank. It comes into play, you don't get to refill your hand, they pick it off, and you get nothing. But also, one of the reasons that Oath is poor into faster combo decks is that when you execute your combo, you have a 7/7 in play, and then it takes 3 more turns to kill your opponent. Raph and Mikey gets them dead in 1 turn, because it attacks for 14 right away, then 14 again the next turn. It's much faster, and the decks that you need to go fast against are not the decks that have Swords to Plowshares, and I think we just board Raph and Mikey out if it might die when it comes into play. I know I'm talking a lot about this one slot in the deck, but it is actually really interesting. It's also not blue for Force of Will or Force of Negation that we play 6 of, which is one of Atraxa's strengths. There's a lot to like about this, and then a couple things to not like about it. This is a card I'm going to have my eye on in this league. And the last thing I wish was here, but isn't, and I'm not sure where I would put it, is 1 Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb cranks out Stock Up, Show and Tell, and Tinker ahead of schedule. That card is just really good in this particular build of Oath, the way it's constructed these days. I've had Ancient Tomb in Oath on the channel before, and I've really liked it. But this list that's got Flusterstorms and Thoughtseizes and Vamp Tutors and all these colorful spells it wants to cast for 1 mana, a little bit risky. I don't normally talk for 5 minutes about tiny fringe corner case. I try to get straight into the video, but I'm locked in right now thinking about every little thing because NYSE is coming up for me. Those are the things I'm looking at in the video. But if you don't care about all that, this is Oath of Druids. Let's put Atraxa into play. I am on the draw in round 1 against a not Luris deck. I am going to keep this. This has Mox Orchard. It doesn't have the Oath. Okay, we are against White Initiative, who have a Chancellor. This is a good matchup, but them being on the play and me not having the Oath ready to go are two layers of some concern. I could Force of Negation pitching Brainstorm on just a mana rock to break the Chancellor bubble, and then force pitching Ancestral. Yeah, I would have loved to force that Black Lotus, but this Chancellor, pretty good. Okay. The creatures that just attack for damage are not the ones I'm super worried about. Like, I can race this thing. I would have been really worried if that was a Archon of Emeria. Okay, let's get out of this hole that we're in. I'm going to fetch Basic Island. I'm going to pay the Troll Toll to resolve Mox Sapphire. And if I Ancestral now, I'll have 8 cards in hand, so I'll Ancestral in their upkeep, I guess. I could even do it in their end step. They don't have counterspells. I'll see what they do and respond appropriately. I do need basically this turn for Oath of Druids to show up, though. Void Mirror. I don't think they want that anymore. Okay, keeping it on top. You're the boss. Mana Crypt. All right, I'll Ancestral in response to that. Chain of Vapors in, or Chain of Vapor. Nope, that's Flusterstorm. Okay, Force pitching Flusterstorm. Now I have access to Show and Tell, so Oath or Atraxa are both good finds here. Demonic Tutor. What does that do for me? I think I have to start with Brainstorm here. If I find Lotus, I can do a lot right now. Oh, baby. All right, well, there's Lotus. Oh, I can jam an Atraxa into play. My opponent, if I play Show and Tell, put in Atraxa, my opponent gets to put in Chancellor the Annex. Oh, is there a better way to do this? I could Demonic for Oath, play Oath, take 11, maybe even 12 damage, get an Atraxa at 1 life, and then I need Time Walk. I need specifically Time Walk to survive that. Yeah, it's tough knowing that they have Chancellor Annex in their hand. So I will have Force backup if I take the Oath line. But if Seasoned Dungeoneer does get +1, then I can't force anyway. Okay, I don't need Forbidden Orchards this game. My opponent has provided their own creatures. Demonic Tutor. I've already made my land drop, so Tinker doesn't make sense, and I've been under so much damage that I don't have a lot of faith in that. The Chancellor of the Annex is a 5/6. Atraxa is a lot bigger than that, but then it's hard to do anything else afterwards. All right, I'll take the Oath. Okay, Oath of Druids to my hand. Black Lotus. Green, green, green. Hope this works. So on the play, I win this game easily. If they don't have Chancellor, I win this game easily. But they had both of those things, and now it's going to be tight. And I know they just drew Void Mirror. Time Walk is the card that matters in my deck at this point. Okay, they missed on growing this thing. They put a Plains in their hand, but this means I could Force of Will without dying. Oh no. The Cavern of Souls. Well, they have the Archon. Can't counter it. So I gotta hit Time Walk. Yes, use the ability. Hit Atraxa. Time Walk's in my graveyard. Damn it. I don't think I can win anymore. Do any of these cards do anything? I don't think so. Yeah, the stock up means I can't even Archon into other stuff. All right. Yep. Exactly that sequence of things had to happen. Also, if Seasoned Dungeoneer was White Plume instead of Seasoned Dungeoneer, that was like everything that had to go that way, which is fine. This is vintage. I'm not raging. I'm just describing how close that actually was, even though that game didn't actually look close. Okay. Misstep, Probe, Flusterstorm, Force of Negation. Bolus's Citadel comes out, as Portal to Phyrexia and Sphinx of the Steelwind are better Tinker targets. Abrupt Decays. I don't think I want to be thought seizing this opponent. Consigned to Memory. That can attack their mana or their various triggers. Okay, here we go. This stuff's in. Let's run it. Mox Orchard Oath. Keep. The opponent kept 7 cards. Mox Ruby. Forbidden Orchard. Oath of Druids. Go. If they have a Grafdigger's Cage or a Caracas, I can Besaju it in response to the Oath trigger. Containment Priest is actually going to be pretty annoying if they have that one. Cavern on Human, bad news. Mox Ruby. Alright, Moment of Truth. Are they going to flash out a Priest? Brutal. Alright, well, in that case, I will not use my Oath. And I will cast Stock Up. And I think I should use Besaju to do this, rather than feeding them more attackers. Got a bunch of Abrupt Decays in my deck. Oh my god. Alright, Mox Pearl and Demonic Tutor. Pass the turn. Okay, does their hand do anything else? I can still beat all this. It's just, are they going to continue to develop scary permanents? Lauren of the Third Path. Okay. I wasn't going to Oath this turn anyway. Like, are they going to blow up the Oath or take a Mox? They do want the Oath. Big draws. Stock up. Okay, I think what I do here is Demonic Tutor or Abrupt Decay, and then play another Oath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm being attacked down to 8. I can consign to memory a trigger. Oh, come on. Another Priest. All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, that was a very good hand, and that's vintage, baby. On to the next round. I'm excited to be a special guest for the Excalibur Events Niagara Falls weekend, September 25th through 27th, 2026. This event features the pre-modern scaling 25K with $10,000 guaranteed and $5,000 added to the prize pool at 275, 350, and 450 players for a total of $25,000. Gold Border and Collector's Edition cards are legal in this tournament, and you can use up to 10 playtest cards to fill out your deck. Be sure to check the FAQ on the Excalibur website to follow their playtest card policy. This has a chance of being the biggest pre-modern event ever. Sign up now and use code BOSH for $5 off entry. I hope I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2 versus Allura strategy. I could turn 1 Oko with Force Backup, or I could turn 1 Ancestral with Force Backup. I'm going to lean on the Ancestral first. Sapphire, Emerald, Delta. There are reasons to Ancestral right away. Like, I have enough mana that I might still cast a spell, but Force of Negation and Mindbreak Trap are both cards that can be seen in main decks these days. Like, I could have Ancestraled on my turn, played this Oath, and had that in play. I'll get Hedge Maze, another Oath. I am going to keep this and hope they counter the first one. It's better to hold your land for after Oath in a lot of cases, because if they know that you're not playing Orchard this turn, they can respect things differently. But a lot of decks have Spell Pierce these days. Okay, look at that. So the first Oath I resolved successfully because I played around Spell Pierce. The second Oath, let's see if this just dies to Abrupt Decay or something. Hey, right off the tippity top. All right, I clearly just drew this, or else I would have played it last turn. My opponent will understand that. Okay, Oko, Thief of Crowns. I'm going to cast. I'm just layering BS on top of BS here. Make a food. I'm developing the Oko because they're playing like they can answer Oath. Yeah, there it goes. And Oko is just a pretty good card to have in play versus decks. Almost all decks. And this appears to be Bugluris. I'm only 1 mana away from casting this Atraxa too. Like, that's a direction that eventually gets unlocked when you're playing Oath. If your opponent waits too long, you can just cast your monsters. What does Raven Mikey cost? Is that a 7-drop? Okay, yeah, 7 GG or RR. That card is definitely castable. Okay, the old Black Lotus into Collector Oof sequence. Love to see it. All right, taking that one out. You got it. I'm going to make my food into an elk. And I'll play Besaju. I think in this matchup, lands, mana, generally speaking, are more useful than Besaju. It'll push. Yep, don't care. That was free material. I'm at 19 life and Oko's at 7 loyalty. Just, card is unkillable in combat. And my opponent kindly gave me a bunch more elk fodder. I don't mind standing up these dead Moxen. 2 pair in my hand. Important to remember with this list that that means there's only one Atraxa left in the deck. Kept a card on top. Okay. Still pushing through. That's allowed. Oko goes to 4 loyalty. Another oof. I think that's okay. Thoughtseize. Alright, what's that last card? What have you been hiding from me? Force of Will, sure. I was hoping to make a food this turn, so I would still have an artifact around in case I drew Tinker. But I guess I can just make a food, and yeah, that's the same thing. Never mind. Works out the same. Laris put in their hand, and I think at this point, there I'm now. Oh wow. Okay, so they're very worried about Oko, and they're keeping the creature count neutral for Oath. Oh, okay. Well, well, well. King in the castle. Show and tell. Fairly confident it's going to resolve. Okay. We've got Black Lotus, Demonic Tutor, Oath of Druids, Strip Mine, and Brainstorm versus Force Negation. Brainstorm. Done. Easy. And I'm going to turn Luris into an elk. Strip Mine, take you off green. Play Black Lotus so it can attack next turn. And here you go. I don't know how we lose this game. Psychic Frog. Do I care? I don't think so. I mean, that's not going to be big enough to push through Atraxa. I can elk it if I was even worried, which I'm not. Okay, and here I can Time Walk. Demonic Tutor. Get Time Walk. Attack. Oh, that was sloppy. I should have stood up Black Lotus, attacked with everything here. Give you a Spirit. Time Walk. They've had enough. Cool. Oko, coast to coast on that one. The Sphinx of the Steelwind, quite good versus bug decks. Beseju, when that was printed, completely flipped the script of how beatable Sphinx of the Steelwind is. But they do still have to have it. Okay, Decays and Dismembers, they are ultimately a creature deck. How do I want to handle this? I think Force of Negation can come out. And that's going to be a common theme, Force of Negation boarding out, because it's a card that is in the main deck out of respect for how bad we are against combo, but it's bad against non-combo. Okay, the question is, do I want Citadel? Do I want Portal? Managing the Tinker package is a big part of sideboarding with this deck. Because if they've put some damage on me, Citadel is not necessarily reliable. If they have a bunch of creatures in play, Portal is a nice option. I'm definitely bringing in Sphinx. Portal's also a nice one to show and tell in. Oh, how much removal do I want? Do I want to just become full board control Sultai? I'm cutting Mana Crypt because they're a Collector Oof deck. Maybe that's worse than cutting Ruby, though. Ruby doesn't cast any spells. It doesn't help cast Atraxa, and Mana Crypt does help power through. Mana Denial is part of what this deck's doing. And they may or may not even have Oof in. They might board it out. They might not play it if they do have it. Vamp Tutor can also come out in grindier matchups. This is about speed. The card negative tutors like Vamp Tutor and Mystical Tutor, if you have it, are mostly to get access to your Tinker or a combo piece very quickly. And I don't think we need to do that in this matchup. I don't think I have room for this Dismember. There's just too many other cards I still want in the deck. I'll turn one Sphinx of the Steelwind with Force backup. I'll try it. Ooh, Strip Mine. Interesting. Misty, I'm going to play Mox Emerald first, because they might Spell Pierce a Mana Crypt, but they're not going to Spell Pierce a Mox Emerald. And do I want to send this into Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, etc.? I could wait a turn, play around it, but if they develop Oof on this turn, it hurts. But I guess I could just force the Oof. Okay. I will wait a turn and give myself the chance to play around Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm. They are fetching. Alright, was I punished for waiting? Psychic Frog. That one, you need 5 cards in hand to beat a Sphinx, which they do actually have. So I should force this. If they force back, then the Frog's too small to beat a Sphinx, and that's actually okay. Alright, force pitching Probe. And the fact that they didn't probe me before this tells me they don't have another blue card in their hand. Because that's just there if you want it. Like, probe, see what you got going on, then play my Psychic Frog. Ooh, alright. Backup plan emerges. Put Oath on top. Play Strip Mine. What would I rather resolve? I guess I would rather have Sphinx in play. and then just strip mine them. Okay, so my read was correct that they didn't have an extra blue card. There was just the extra level of there was this blue card instead. But I've got the double send, and they need to top deck a Grafdigger's Cage or an Abrupt Decay right the fuck now. They do have 2 looks at it. Psychic Frog got in. Mox Sapphire is not one of the cards I care about. Please just put Laris in your hand. Stock up. Okay. This would have to find Mox Grafdigger's Cage. Like Force of Vigoring me in my upkeep, the Oath Trigger will already be on the stack if they find Force of Vigor green card. Okay, Oath Trigger on the stack. Get Atraxa, and we've got Abrupt Decay, Forbidden Orchard, Show and Tell, Mox Sapphire, and I don't want the Atraxa. I want that in my deck. Was Force of Will in that stack? Did I just like black out and take a card I didn't need? This Abrupt Decay? I think I did. All right, that wasn't the cleanest I've ever played Magic. It's all right. All right. I will Show and Tell this Sphinx into play. And Forbidden Orchard can keep the creature count where I want it. Take out your green mana. I think that's the color I care about. They could attack with both creatures, just lose both creatures so Oath doesn't keep triggering. Treasure Cruise happens. Ancestral Recall, hell yeah. If only it was possible for me to have Force Blue card in my hand. I had 2 looks at it and just... I don't think I even recognized it in the Atraxa stack, and then I drew it for turn and was already casting spells. I gotta play better than this if I'm playing in NYSE, that's for sure. No matter what deck I'm playing, gotta do better than this turn cycle I just played. They do have 6 cards in hand, but my Abrupt Decay is face up. That Abrupt Decay I was so excited to jam into my hand, even at the expense of Force of Will. That means that their frogs can't get through my creatures, and we all know it. Okay, no attacks. I'll give you another guy in the end step. I'd like to keep Oathing, please. Raph and Mikey spiked. And attack with my squad. This will put the last Atraxa into play. I'll keep the one that's untapped. They're both attacking. All right, Force of Will this time. Force of Will. Oh, there is another Atraxa in here. Who knew? Thoughtseize looks pretty good. Underground Sea. And I will put the Atraxa back into the deck, even though with this 7/7 trample joining the party, they're probably just dead. Oh, Atraxa and Sphinx don't trample, so they might not just be dead. But I do have the ability to Abrupt Decay a frog if they try to put one involved. Oh, they just went to blocks without jumping a frog, so that means the flyers are getting through. So they're at 4, which means they have to soak up at least 4 damage from Raph and Mikey. My opponent's probably going to trigger Oath this turn, but that's not actually a big deal. Their creatures aren't good enough to beat my creatures. They'll probably Oath into a Collector Oof or some dope that just doesn't matter. 13 points of lifelink on this attack too, so I can't imagine losing on the backswing. Okay, so let's do math. These blocks don't look very good to me. 4 damage is trampling over, plus the other 13. That's 17. And if they discard a card to frog, I Abrupt Decay it. Yeah, they needed to block with everything here. And then probably also discard to multiple different frogs. Or just block something else. Okay, here's the Abrupt Decay we all knew about. If my opponent has Misdirection in their deck, there might be some counterplay here. Okay. They appear to just be dead. Combat math is hard. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next-day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 3 versus a non-Lurrus strategy. This hand is pretty bad, and I'm going to mulligan it. Ooh. Oh, no. Okay, so this is a turn 1 Oath with no protection. And then my hand doesn't do anything till it finds another mana. However, the next mana I find represents Tinker. If that mana is black, I can do whatever I want. If my opponent's on white initiative, this Oath is actually might just be good enough. All right, I'm going to keep in bottom Vamp Tutor. A little risky here, but I'm riding the lightning. I can't play around Mindbreak Trap. I lose to any Force of Will. I just got to hope that they are... Yeah, if this is like Prison Shops or White Initiative, even Dredge. Okay, Mishra's Workshop. Grim Monolith. Tezzeret. Okay, am I dead? Untapping Grim Monolith. Manifold Key. Untapping Grim Monolith again. I hope the hand is 4 creatures from here. 1 ring. Okay. That is draw most of your deck starting next turn. Yep, this is the faster combo problem. Yeah, this is like Raker Shops over there. I guess this could be Jewel. I don't think Jewel plays keys, though. I'm going to have to study list to make sure I know exactly what I'm talking about. Land for Tinker? All right. Well, I'll send it and hope that I do enough with my Bolas' Citadel. Force a negation on top of the deck. So the thing about Oath is it's a very bad Bolas' Citadel deck, but Bolas' Citadel is a fundamentally broken Magic card, so sometimes that's okay. The tough thing here is Tezzeret could just tutor Vexing Bauble and turn off my Citadel. Okay, a creature's in play. That might not be good news for me. Multiple creatures in play now. I need to survive this turn, is the trick. Taking a bunch of damage. No Sensei's Tops visible yet. A key was used to untap the One Ring. A Tezzeret has been activated. The One Ring has, or the Manifold Key has been activated. Oh, I don't have to. I'm not instantly dead to Time Vault here. And this Tez is the same as a top, I guess. And my life total will run out eventually, so I'm gonna force this Tez. Opponent's got 5 cards in hand, though. Good chance they do something. But it would be nice if they didn't. There's a Saga. Oh my god, they're passing priority. You're saying there's a chance. All right. I mean, this would be a great time to hit Raph and Mikey. I hit Raph and Mikey. The Time Walk's in my graveyard, though. That's a card I really wanted. Thoughtseize on top of my deck. I don't think I want to cast that. Okay. Attack for 14. Do I attack Tez or my opponent's face? I think I attack my opponent's face. And milling the Time Walk hurts so bad. That's what I needed. Okay, I get Mox Pearl, Force of Will, Oath of Druids, Tropical Island, stock up, and I do have multiple forces here, so I should take Atraxa. Done. Okay, some chump blocks. My boy has Trample, so I like that. Stock up on top. What am I looking for? What do I have to do here? So if I find Gaia's Blessing the old-fashioned way, put Time Walk into my deck, and then Bolas' Citadel into Time Walk, that's an out. Okay, I'm going to cast stock up. Ooh, all Ancestral in response. Okay, Ancestral happens. There's Gaia's Blessing and Mox Ruby. Or do I want Ruby in the deck as a better shred for... Yeah, I'm not going to take Ruby. How much mana do I need this turn? And I'm going to have to get through 30-something cards to find this Time Walk. Okay, I'll take Beseju. And then Strip Mine. I did that backwards. Mox Ruby Atraxa Strip Mine. Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm going to shuffle anyway. Mana Crypt off the top. Black Lotus off the top. Gaia's Blessing. Target me and target only Time Walk. I don't want more than one card going into the mix here. Oh, I need green mana for this, don't I? All right, sack Lotus for green. It's fine. Thoughtseize on top of my deck. What did I draw? I drew Jet. Okay, Thoughtseize you. 4 lands. That makes sense, given that I didn't die last turn. Jet from hand. Pearl from hand. I can play this Show and Tell. My opponent gets to put in one of these lands in their hand, but Show and Tell puts in Atraxa, which is another 10 looks at Time Walk from 6 life. That's going to have to be good. All right. Hold priority, cast Show and Tell, land on top of my deck, put in Atraxa, keep the untapped one. You put in Talon Gates. That's okay. These things will be back on my next upkeep, which is what I'm trying to do. All right, zooted out Raph and Mikey. looked at 10 cards that are not Time Walk, but Vamp Tutor's here. That should get it done. Vamp Tutor, Mox Ruby, land for fun, and I'll leave Atraxa in the deck. I will make my land drop, and then, oh wow, I have to survive a crypt flip. Can I get rid of my crypt somehow? Can I do this without Vamp Tutoring also? Okay, so if I cast Stock Up and just find the Time Walk, I still have room to do this. And then I can still roll my dice if I need to. All right, Stock Up. Magic's easy. Time Walk right there in the hand. Back it up with a Force of Will. Any order. Ruby. Walk. Blammo. You love to see it. And now I will go to my bonus turn and win the game. Okay, I got pretty lucky there with my opponent having 5 lands in their hand at the end of all that. But, you know, gotta find those lines. Consign to Memory in, Mindbreak Trap in, Null Rod in. It's not a bad Abrupt Decay deck either. Like, I could go no Tinker here. So if I go Flusterstorm, Gataxian Probe, Mox Ruby, and it's important to go fast, but I'm also bringing in 3 Null Rods. Oko probably can come out here. Okay, I don't think this sideboard is going to map in a way. The Tinker would come out if I'm cutting all my Tinker targets. Yeah, the sideboard doesn't map for 10 cards, so becoming the full control deck, not entirely on my to-do list here. Or I could cut the basic island. This is actually really close to being something I could do. I could cut the Raph and Mikey, though that does kill them fast. In that attack for 14 actually did change the entire combat math because Time Walk wouldn't have beat them, at least not on its own. Or I had to use the Guy's Blessing to get the Time Walk, so I was out of loops. Yeah, I actually needed Raph and Mikey to win that game. I do like Thoughtseize, but it might be too slow on the draw. Yeah, I could bring in just 1 fewer of these things, like maybe -1 Mind Rage Track or -1 Abrupt Decay. I do like the Raph and Mikey, unfortunately. Okay, I'll go just 1 Mind Break Trap, and I am going to try to play Sultai Control here. Okay, this, I was about to say this is a turn 2 Tinker, but it's not because I boarded that out. It's a turn 2 Null Rod that I can consign to memory. It really depends on how bad turn 1 is. All right, I'll keep this hand and hope I'm not dead. There's a Saga. Soul Ring. Vexing Bauble. That makes my Mox worse. Grafdigger's Cage. Okay. The Grafdigger's Cage is fine. I was a ways away from making that a problem anyway. Yeah, the Bauble is annoying, though. I was really hoping to have 2 mana right now. And we know they're a Wasteland deck. How worried am I about getting Construct beat down? I can just vamp for Oath. I am going to play around Wasteland where I can, though. Or, no, vamping for Oath doesn't work because of Grafdigger's Cage. That's right, that's right. I know how things are. Okay, so my plan is probably vamp for Null Rod. All right, well, now my plan is counter Tezzeret. Do I vamp in the upkeep here? I don't think so. Which means I could get Tropical Island. Consign this thing to memory. Another cage. You got it. And now they're only capable of making 1 construct, which I can Abrupt Decay. Oh, and I have Besage You. Cool. Okay. Sultai Control in full effect here. I can Besage You or Abrupt Decay almost any of the important cards in their deck. It's the One Ring. That's the card that would be annoying to me right now. But they're making constructs, so we're good. A Tutor to Sensei's Top. Makes sense. Mishra's Workshop. 1 card left in hand. Moment of Truth. End step. Abrupt Decay. Your construct. Upkeep. Vampiric Tutor for Null Rod. Draw for turn. I don't have a Bayou, so I have to decide if I want black or green mana in the face of Wasteland. And I think I want green. Null Rod. We'll probably see top activations in response here, and then we're just going to have to beat the random mishmash of creatures that come after this. I'm looking for Show and Tell, plus something to put in off Show and Tell, or Oko. I boarded out Oko. I'm not looking for Oko. Or I do have enough stuff that I could eventually blow up all their Grafdigger's Cages. There's more Decays and Besages in my deck. Oh, what do we got? Fleshraker. All right, the 2/2 beats begin. This is serious, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to sound flippant about this card. Okay, that's a good one. Demonic Tutor. I think Ancestral Recall is the way to go here. I could just take an A or a B with Show and Tell plus Monster, but the outs for Ancestral to hit a stock up and then keep the chain going are just so high. Right, Grim Monolith, and everything they play here is 1 extra damage. They can't crack the Vexing Bauble. It's against the rules. Okay, I'm gonna stock up. There we go. Show and Tell and Atraxa. Boop bop. Done and done. And I have to discard to hand size. Is it better for me to just put a Mox in the graveyard and keep Beseju in my hand? I think having access to Beseju might just still be a good idea. Oh yeah, the Moxes completely don't matter. They both won't resolve and I have Null Rod locking them out. Strip mine. Okay. I have Beseju. I can still cast Show and Tell. I'm feeling good, team. They should probably strip me off black here. Unless they want that mana for something. Yeah. Beseju, who endures Show and Tell. I'll do both here. I'll Show and Tell. We've got Tropical Island, Time Walk, Null Rod, Consigned to Memory. Done. And I have to discard 2 of these cards. It'll be Oath of Druids and Mox Sapphire. Okay, right now, don't draw, what, Caracas? What am I worried about here? All right, a second Flesh Raker, that's not going to be enough. Trop, attack, Time Walk. I'll play the Oath. I can activate Oath into Grafdigger's Cage to put a creature on top of my deck, but I don't have a Show and Tell, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to decline, but having this in play doesn't hurt me, and I might still find use for it. Now I have Hardcast Mindbreak Trap plus Consign to Memory up versus my Hellbent opponent whose most of their deck doesn't work. You're up. They can't tap their Ancient Tomb. Grafdigger's Cage number 3. You got it. Resolves. GG's. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2 with a slow, steady hand against non-Lurrus again. I'm going to keep this hand, and I'm just going to play basic island and pass, and then I'll try to use Force of Will to get into my Forbidden Orchard turn. Uh-oh. Dredge opponent has dusted 21 consecutive cards. It eventually kept on 6. Okay. Now I'm a little bummed out. Dredge does come down to just being a race most of the time, and if I have to force a Grief here, it's a little annoying. And because I didn't have acceleration, it both means my Oath didn't resolve on turn 1, and I have to now fight through a fully active Bazaar, and it means I can't Beseju their Bazaar on turn 2. Hollow One's gotta be okay. 1 Force of Will in the dusted pile. Alright, let's hope you don't have 2 forces right now. And even though giving them a spirit does increase their clock when I didn't have to, I think Beseju is a good enough weapon. Force of Negation, 2 cards left. Do I think Show and Tell or Force of Will is a more important card to have in my hand? I think it's Show and Tell. Give myself a backdoor out here in case I top deck Atraxa. Okay, now don't have Force of Vigor and hope I don't die. Those are the outs. I'm at 19. There are 1, 2, just counting what's already been exiled. 2 Creeping Chill's already gone. 3 Prized Amalgam's already gone. Okay, they hit a Creeping Chill off the big dredge in the upkeep. They're going to have a smaller dredge in their draw step. They found the last Prized Amalgam. I mean, the thing about exiling 21 cards to start the game is your deck's really small, and the cards you didn't exile, you're almost twice as likely to see compared to a 60-card deck. All right, here we go. Milled over nothing, just full blanks on that second dredge. We needed that. All right, I take a big hit, and oh, there were 2 Silver Smoke Ghouls in there as well. All right. Well, once again, Time Walk, a really good card. Moment of Truth. The race is on. Mill hit Atraxa. I did not flip my Time Walk. And the Time Walk's not here either. So how do I maximize finding it this turn? That would be Mana Crypt, stock up, Pain-Free Land, Oath, and I'll take Misstep just because I want it out of the way. Draw Time Walk for turn, show and tell. Okay, so the Icarids are many. I don't gain life this turn, and Raph and Mikey would have been great here. All right, I'm going to look at 5 cards and hope Time Walk is one of them. Tinker! Tinker or Black Lotus? I mean, I could cast Tinker right now. I still have my land drop too. I'm at 8. It's not a lot, but we gotta try to make it work. Blue, 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 Tinker. Get the Bolus of Citadel. Ancestral Recall, target me. Play my land or probe to clear it. I might need this mana. I'm going to play my land. Thoughtseize, not really a card that I want to cast here. All right, I'll fetch to clear the Thoughtseize. Got to use probe to clear Hedge Maze. Do I pay the life or the mana here? Okay, actual combat math. I am at functionally 13. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, plus the other creeping chill that's in there. Yeah, okay. I have to win this turn. I will pay the mana. Oko. Oh no! I'm 1 life short. Can I draw a card somehow? Is there anything I can do here? I even paid the mana. I did such a good job. Yeah, I can't make the food and eat it. 1 mana short of doing that. Am I dead to their board? Because I could Besage their Bazaar right now, and then they only have 1 dredge. I think I've already determined I'm dead to their board, right? Or I could, or no. This would kill me. Never mind, never mind. This costs 2 life. This isn't as close as it seems. Okay, so if I Besage their Bazaar and Elk my Bolus's Citadel, what does that do? They get an extra 1/1 because I have to do it now. If I wait for their turn, it's too late. There's 1 Icarid. Yeah, there's only 1 Icarid over there, and they can dredge 5 to find the 4th Creeping Chill. So it's block, go to 10. Yeah, I've spent a bunch of life since I did this math last. So block, hollow 1, go to 10. Block, one of the 3s, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that 1 turn that it took me to get set up. Yeah, dredge is just a straight up race. There's not a lot to be done there, except know what you're playing against and try to mulligan for it. And this build of the deck does not have any specific dredge hate, and that's a bet on we're faster than them, or we can stabilize against them. And it's a bet against the dredge being a big player at the NYSE metagame. All right, I think Tinker and Citadel are bad. You just don't have enough life to really use that. Thoughtseize is probably not a card I want to cast against dredge. Consign to Memory can create situations that are good. Like, yeah, you can counter a Creeping Chill trigger or an Icarid trigger and buy yourself a little bit of time. And Flusterstorm can help fight their counter fight. Yeah, I have a Strip Mine and 2 Besages in my deck as far as actually interacting with what dredge does. Tinker Sphinx. I mean, that's a pretty big body. Force Negation shouldn't be in my deck. Okay. Tinker Sphinx is in. Oathing into Sphinx when I need an Atraxa would be kind of disappointing. But having this other big body to jam in. Well, this hand stinks. I'm going to mulligan it. This is a turn 1 Oath with counter backup. Opponent powdered once, mulled to 6. Right, I'm going to keep this. I think it's Demonic Tutor that goes to the bottom, because that lets me force pitching stock up, and then I still have the out of drawing any blue source to tinker for Sphinx. Okay, powdered 6 cards, then mulled to 5. Okay, 5 card hand over there. Ox Emerald, Beseju, Oath, pass the turn. Dredge does eventually have to put a creature into play to win. They might be able to win all at once the turn they put a creature in, but that's a pretty specific sequence. They'd have to make decisions like declining to put an Archimedes into play, which is pretty bold. I can force a Force of Vigor. Okay. I am just TikToking, hoping that Oath of Druids is a good enough card versus this creature deck to do what it needs to do. Upkeep, activating Bazaar, Creeping Chill. Yeah, Icarids and Creeping Chills doing all the damage. There's a Silver Smoke Ghoul. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, return this to the battlefield. That is not optional. Okay, so there will be a Silver Smoke Ghoul in play to trigger my Oath here. And a bunch of prized amalgams. Not that I'm happy to see all of those. Leyline of the Void's in their deck. Interesting. I guess that does stop the infinite time walk loop, which is one of the ways you beat Dredge. Okay. Big money, no whammies. Atraxa was hit. I milled Trop, Sea, Trop, and Island. So there's literally one fetchable in my deck for this Misty Rainforest to get. I guess I'll take it. Okay, we've got Ancestral Recall. Oh, would I rather take the Boseiju and kill their Bazaar? Almost certainly. Okay. Ancestral Recall, Boseiju. Mox Black. Oh, I don't have blue mana. Hold on. Hold on. Do I think this game is better if they don't have a Bazaar or I do have access to a blue? I think this game's better if they don't have a Bazaar, actually. Mox Black. Oko. Done. Draw. Hey. Sometimes you don't have to choose. Oh, I could tinker a Sphinx into play here and just double up. Okay. Blow up Bazaar. And if I tinker Sphinx, they get to Dredge. Or they get to Oath. What does that mean for me? I mean, the Dredge deck filling their graveyard is not exactly where I want to be, but they have a lot of really dumb, shitty creatures that I don't care about. And I'd have a lot of lifelink on the board. Oh, they're not going to get to Oath because they have 2 prized amalgams coming. Yeah, I'm going to tinker. And they're scooping to that. Cool. There we go. And like that game showed the power of the card Oath of Druids. There are decks in the format, many of them in fact, that can't actually win without putting a creature into play. And if they can't really control when that creature comes into play, or they can't reasonably play the game without that creature, then just parking an Oath in play makes the game impossible for them to play. Yeah, I think this is just the deck I have access to. This is all we got. Let's go. It's cool they scooped to the Tinker without seeing the Sphinx. They just assumed it was Bolas's Citadel and packed it up. This hand stinks. I will be mauling it. Opponent powdered 7, then mulled to 6. I mulled to 6. Oh, this doesn't cast the Oath. They're good on their 6. Yeah, this hand doesn't actually work. I'll mulligan to 5. Oh no. Mulligan to 4. Deck, please. Okay, do I think 3 cards that has a chance of having an Oath is better than... I mean, I can blow up Bazaar with what I do have here. Like, if I bottom Force, Misstep, Misty Rainforest, keep this 4, I can kill the Bazaar and a mana cast stock up. This is a tough mulligan, but it's what I'm doing. Yep, griefed immediately. Taking the Jet versus the stock up's actually a choice here. They probably take Jet because I was barely in this game killing their Bazaar on 1. If I kill their Bazaar after 2 full activations, I think it's going to be way too late. There it is. Can I draw a different Mox to go nuts here? Lusterstorm. Hell yeah, that's what I want versus Dredge. They only had Shambling Shell to Dredge with, and they did not Bazaar in the upkeep. Interesting. Are they just taking draws here? No, they dredged Shambling Shell in their draw step to keep 2 cards in hand. I wonder if their last card in hand is Force of Vigor. That would make sense. That would explain why they want a second card in their hand. And knowing that it's a green card is pretty serious. Okay, I found mana. I'm going to target Bazaar in my end step. I guess I want to target it as late as possible. So maybe my opponent's upkeep is a better time to do it. Like, if they activate it, I'll just jam it. But if they don't, all right, now I'll do it in the upkeep. And I am more worried about Bazaar than Hollow One. Shambling Shell, Dredge 3. Please miss, please miss. Ooh, it missed on a second Dredger. It did hit a Creeping Chill. Silver Smoke Ghoul from hand. Brutal. All right, that just made the clock a lot faster. Can I even win now if I draw Oath? I need Oath. They attack me to 9. Ghoul comes back. I'm at 1 when Oath triggers if I draw Oath exactly right now. Oath. All right, GG. This game's not winnable anymore. I guess I could go to 1 top deck Black Lotus, Lotus into Time Walk, Oath, or something. Narcomoeba. Yeah, that's not what I'm countering. Yeah, I mean, Multifor. What do you want me to do? I collapsed what they were doing, but the hollow one is going to be enough. I guess the non-rhetorical answer to the question, what do you want me to do, is put some Dread Shade in my deck. Oath and Sapphire. All right, too late. GG. On to, is this the final round already? It is the final round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Receivables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables.
I'm on the draw in the final round against non-Lurrus. I have Force of Will and Ancestral Recall in my hand, which is normally a good sequence of cards to have. I don't like Gaia's Blessing being here, but I am going to keep this hand. Like, this hand is so on the fringe. It's like Ancestral Recall with Force backup, great. Tinker as an option to be proactive, great. Gaia's Blessing, not a card you ever want in your hand. Hedge Maze enters tapped. It's just like a little friction on the fringes here. It looks like we're against White Initiative. The classic, should I have countered this Chromox? Oh no. Was that a misclick? Or no, it was bait. It was bait. And I'm going to force the Mana Crypt. 2 mana over there. All right, White Initiative. The Chrome Mox, no imprint, is a cool trick. Do I just Ancestral now? I think I do, actually. This is a deck that can punish me for having Mox in later. All right, no Mox in there, but Orchard and Oath. Void Mirror. I mean, it's use it or lose it. I'm going to force pitching Tinker. Because Atraxa might flip a bunch of Mox in or something, which becomes something I want to be able to do. And also, Bolas's Citadel doesn't work with Void Mirror in play, so might as well chuck it to the Force. It's like I don't have it anyway. Tapping Chrome Mox is funny. I didn't know you could actually do that if there wasn't imprinted. All right, Chrome Mox. So they're going to go Hellbent here, pitch some card to this, and pass whatever the last card in your hand is. Pitched Clarion Conqueror. Yeah, that's not a card you could play here. White Plume Adventure. Okay, race is on. Tutor up the plains. Unlike my last White Initiative matchup where they had turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer with a Chancellor Bubble over top of it, here I'm at a comfortable 16 life when my Oath triggers for the first time. Atraxa arrives. My Time Walk is still in the deck. Okay, there's Raph and Mikey. We've got Black Lotus, Force Negation, stock up. I'm taking stock up. And do I want Emerald or Jet? I don't think that matters. Do I want Black Lotus? Oh, Raph and Mikey. I could show and tell that sucker. You just get to clapping. Do I want to do that? I mean, they're Hellbent right now. That is 7 damage. Or it's 14 damage. And I take the initiative. They have to hit me back. That leaves 1 Atraxa still in the deck, though, because the Blessing is already spent. All right, stock up, Raph and Mikey, both of Druids. Again, the Gaia's Blessing being in my hand here is super shitty, because if this was still in my deck, I would just take the second Oath, happily jam it, Oath 2 or 3 times per turn, go completely nuts. I'll take Strip Mine just in case they come up with a Caracas. Do I need Lotus for what I'm trying to do here? I really don't. I think I'll take Jet then. Okay, done. Draw for turn. Taxian Probe. I'm not going to cast Taxian Probe. I am going to Raph and Mikey, though. Oh, I could actually hit them for 7. Legend Rule, keep the untapped Atraxa. But I think I'd rather make them more dead. Okay. Show and tell, Raph and Mikey. Let's just get this game over. I'll keep the one that's attacking. Did not find show and tell on, or time walk on that one either. All right, they've had enough. Don't blame you. Okay. Sphinx and Portal are in. Corrupt Decay, Dismember are in. Blusterstorm, Mental Misstep, Force of Negation. Play Draw Consign is actually interesting to think about versus Force of Negation. Because Force of Negation on the mana development does matter here. All right, Force of Negation on the draw. Ataxian Probe can go. I might be Vamp Tutoring. Vamp Tutor for Tinker to get Portal to Phyrexia is a clean path to getting out of this game. I think Thoughtseize on the draw. And my play draw build is going to look very different. A turn 1 stock up, but no green mana, and I'm not on the play, which means that these Moxen might not resolve because of Void Mirror. They might be my only spell I get to cast because of Archon of Emeria. I am going to mulligan this. I like this much better. Keep this and put, I think, Forbidden Orchard on the bottom. My opponent will have creatures. Emerald, Ruby, Lanes. That's not Cavern of Souls. We did it, team. I will force this one. There are games you can ignore White Plume Adventure as Oath, but I don't know that we're in one of them. Okay. I have enough mana now that I can get green or black as needed. All right, this is a lot of lands. Not totally happy with that. Now I wish I had just fetched an on-basic and let them waste me. Peacekeeper. This can name Abrupt Decay and make it cost a bunch of mana. Naming one of the 2 random fetch lands doesn't seem like it makes much sense to me. Yep, Abrupt Decay costs more. Both the Druids off the top, easy money. Brainstorm, hell yeah. You don't get a lot of those in this format. Raph and Mikey and Atraxa have appeared. Why? Why, guys? Okay, Orchard goes away. Raph and Mikey go away. And I'll fetch Hedge Maze this turn. A Cavern. They just drew that because if they had it any earlier, it would have happened already. That is a Cleric. And we know the last 2 cards in their hand are spells because they missed a land drop last turn. Peacekeeper coming in, keeping the peace. Hedge Maze. Please find a good card. Atraxa, no. Big Rips. I hate you, deck. Okay, Underground Sea, pass the turn. I'm taking 8 this turn. Here's the beats. Oh, now I need Show and Tell. I don't even have time for Oath anymore. GG. All right. Sometimes you just don't do any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 1 short of casting Atraxa. Classic Oath hand. They play and draw. Consigned Memories come in over Force of Negations. Thoughtseize is much better on the play as well, but I would like to focus on actually executing a game plan and not having too many interactive things. A mediocre hand, which is not where I want to be. I want to dumpster this opponent. I'll mulligan this. Okay, turn 1 Oath. I'm in. Keep. And do I think they're more likely to remove an Oath? Or, like, I could bottom the backup Oath. I could bottom Demonic Tutor. I could bottom Show and Tell. Those are my options. I think I want Demonic Tutor. All right, it's backup Oath that's going away. Oh no, the Chancellor. They bought a turn. I hate when they do that. Well, that's annoying. And now I'm very susceptible to Wasteland Gaming. Romox. Ancient Tomb. Void Mirror. Okay, I actually don't care about that. All right, now I care about it a little bit. But my Oath is in play. Opponent doesn't have a creature. I could blow up a Containment Priest. Caracas, pretty annoying. Oh, I was supposed to board out Raph and Mikey in this matchup, wasn't I? I forgot to do that. I love introducing variants for no reason. Okay, passing the turn. Atraxa in my hand. All right, I'm going to Demonic for a Forbidden Orchard. This forces the issue on putting creatures into play, and also just cast Show and Tell if I needed to. The double duty. There's a Priest. Anointed Peacekeeper. Fuck! Alright. Well, that name's Abrupt Decay. All the pieces just perfectly locking in here. I hate my life. Yeah, sometimes you just draw Force of Will right after they resolve a Void Mirror, and it's like, LMAO. Thanks for trying, dumbass. I will not be oathing. Mana? Mana? Okay. Abrupt Decay's back online. I don't have a second Priest, please. Or I guess Witch Enchanter is bad now too, but at least I can show and tell. This Caracas is still in play. White Plume Adventurer resolves. This Caracas is going to be trouble as well. All right, well, I'm decaying the priest anyway. Might as well do it now. Okay, big moment. This would be a terrible time to hit Raph and Mikey. Holy shit. Of course. Of course. 100% rate of that happening. But I do have show and tell in my hand. Okay, so they Caracas before combat. And then I show and tell the Atraxa. And I have a bunch of looks at Beseju or Strip Mine. Okay, I found Beseju. Okay, Beseju, Tinker, Oath, Black Lotus, and Abrupt Decay. Done. Beseju, this Caracas. Is it enough? And Chancellor of the Annex counters my spell unless I pay 1. It doesn't make my spell cost 1 more, so Void Mirror is still just fully online. All right, please be out of gas. Go into the Lost Well. That's a sign they're out of gas. If they forge, that means the foot's still on the accelerator. Opponent said "Ga" in the chat. I don't know what "Ga" means. They're in the Lost Well. I also don't know when they said "Ga." My microphone is between my eye line and the chat, so if you're ever playing against me and I don't respond right away, it's because I literally didn't see you talking. They bottom the scry. Casting another Chancellor Gaming. Let's go. But the messed up thing about Oath is I'm still okay here. Opponent's at 10. I've given them a lot of spirits, though. My Portal to Phyrexia is not as good as I'd like it to be. Also, reanimating with Portal is not optional, which means if it's in play, if they sack like Spirit, Anointed Peacekeeper, and 2 turns later, I have to reanimate Containment Priest, then Priest is in play. Okay. We are in the Oath loop. I will be oathing every turn forever. I'll keep the one who knows how to fight. Looking for Time Walk. Always looking for Time Walk. We've got here Show and Tell, Oath of Druids, Strip Mine, Consign to Memory. Is that better than Abrupt Decay? And Decaying Void Mirror is not nothing. Okay. Done. Draw for turn. Mox Pearl. Okay, how do I want to play this? Oath costs 4 mana right now. Abrupt Decay costs 4 mana as well. Well, Oath costs 2, but it costs 2 more if I want to keep it. Tinker is mediocre. If I can be oathing multiple times per turn, that's pretty nice. If I attack with Atraxa right now, trade with both Chancellors of the Annex, then Tinker actually rips pretty hard. Okay, I'm going to offer the trade with both Chancellors. I could get in with Raph and Mikey here too off of Show and Tell. I just don't think that's actually doing anything. Like, I want Atraxa either untapped or trading for Angels. I don't want it tapped and attacking. All right, I have the initiative, but my island's already in play. That doesn't do anything. Shuffles my deck in case I knew some stuff that was on the bottom, which I guess I did. Okay, I have this land, and I think I want just more oaths in play. That is the maximum number of oaths I know how to put in play right now. I'm going to clean up discarding Mox Pearl and Black Lotus. Yeah, I think having the option to show the Mikey for a 14-point blast is still pretty good, where these... I don't think I'm going to be Abrupt Decaying Void Mirror this game. I'm trying to fade Swords to Plowshares, Caracas. I can beat Solitude with Consign to Memory. Or no, I can't. Or yes, I can. I have to replicate it once, because the replicate's not cast. Oh, that was weird. Was that a misclick? They just floated 5 mana, then played Witch Blast Meadow tapped. Okay, so they were trying to blow up one of my oaths. I can still oath. We got the GGs. Okay. Yeah, so they were trying to Witch Blast Meadow one of my oaths. I still have oath looping into Atraxa, and that's not really enough to take this game back, especially at 3 life. And they know I can show the Raph and Mikey and have a big trample creature next turn. Okay, cool. Positive record. Losing to 2 matches that I perceive to be good, but that's vintage. I don't know that I like the full Cavalier disrespectfulness of the graveyard. I'm not trying to play a playset of Leyline of the Void. We don't have room for all that, but I could see just like a Tabernacle you can trigger Atraxa into, or Demonic Tutor for, or Vamp Tutor for. I've played 1 or 2 copies of Ravenous Trap before in this deck, and I think the slots that these would occupy are probably some number of Mindbreak Trap, or this extra Flusterstorm in the board, or the extra Thoughtseize. I could see all of those being spots where a card like that would go. White Initiative, I mean, we saw what has to happen for them to beat us. It has to be like 3 or 4 perfect things happening in the right order while they're on the play. There are a bunch of games versus White Initiative in that last round versus that Bug player earlier versus the Dredge player, where it's just sort of you put Oath into play, and from there everything becomes impossible for them and easy for you. But also, if you don't have Oath in play, your deck doesn't do anything, which the Tinker did cover the spread. I had Bolas the Citadel in play a number of times in this league, and it was pretty good. There was one game where I won because I had access to it. There was another game where it was very close to winning. I was just 2 life short of making it happen. And I love access to Portal of Phyrexia in the sideboard. Sphinx of the Steel Wind's kind of a stinker. Like, I kind of wish, and this is a nonsense wish because it's not how cards work. I wish there was a creature we could tinker for that I couldn't hit with Oath. Like, if I could only see it when I wanted to see it, but if you really need to refill your hand with Atraxa and you run off Sphinx from your Oath, that stinks. That's Sphinx. But it's not embarrassing. This is just a card people used to Oath into on purpose. We're just spoiled these days with Atraxa. The Raffen Mikey, I did find myself in a position where I got cooked because I specifically had Raffen Mikey, though also I should have boarded it out and I just forgot to do that. White Initiative is exactly the matchup you're not supposed to have Raffen Mikey in your deck anymore against. So that was me blowing it a little bit. And I really do like Oath, and this felt as good as any other deck I've been playing lately. Vintage remains frustratingly healthy. Every deck is just a positive record. That felt pretty good. And it's really going to come down to familiarity with the deck. Like, how fluid are you? Are you going to forget to board out Raffen Mikey versus Krakus decks? If so, then maybe you should play a different deck that you're more familiar with, because these little mistakes can cost you games. And at a tournament like NYSE, a game might cost you a Mox. I like it. It's on the table. Still haven't decided. This is going to be a probably Wednesday night decision when I fly out Thursday afternoon for the tournament. John, thanks for the opportunity to play this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I will see you next time.